9-game losing streak snapped. Gone. The ghost of the Nuggets busted. I'm ready to make a prediction. I'm feeling good when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. I'm feeling damn good about this team. Yes, the Warriors coming off a back-to-back just the night before on the road against the Lakers. As Bob Fitzgerald mentioned a million times tonight, the first time in franchise history that this team has ever come off a 6-game road trip with a back-to-back game at home against the Denver Nuggets. Those cute little Nuggets got their asses beat tonight. Larry Krueger is going to join me in just a second. It's a Krug Show Golden Days extravaganza. Dan Coach Emilio is joining us. Ryan Smith's joining us. It's a party. We're going to get into it right now. Folks, are you feeling good? I'm feeling good. I see Coach Emilio in the green room. Ryan Smith's going to come in just a second. First, let's play that open, baby. And by the way, I'm ready to make a prediction. Are you ready to hear it? Let's kick it off. The Golden State Warriors, baby, are now gunning for the 3 seed in the West. 5-game winning streak, 9-game losing streak to the Nuggets snapped. And this is the Krug Show and Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
Let's go.
Yeah!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
Welcome to the Krug Show and Golden Days. Larry Krueger's going to join me in just a second. Dan Coach Emilio's in the green room. I'm going to bring him up in just a second. Ryan Smith's going to join us as well. We are in a celebratory mood tonight because the Golden State Warriors coming away victorious at home over the Denver Nuggets, a team that did show up tonight. Folks, that Nuggets team literally benched their starters 2 nights ago to be rested for this game. What a rude awakening they faced as the Warriors came away victorious. Before we get into the nitty gritty, before Larry Krueger joins the party, as well as Ryan Smith and Dan Coach Emilio, got to give some love to the sponsors. Let's get that taken care of right now so we can discuss Warriors and Nuggets. And the sponsors, for at least the Golden Days, first things first, is Visit Humboldt. I'm actually going to bring Coach Emilio on the show right now. Dan, are you ready? Can you give me a thumbs up so I know? Okay, he's nodding. Dan's on the program again. We're going to have 4 of us on the show tonight. Dan, I bring you on now instead of waiting until I'm done with the ad reads because I'm curious to know from your perspective. You're a Bay Area resident. You're a Bay Area-ite, Indian, Bay Area-on. Have you ever been to Humboldt County? I'm guessing yes. Tell the folks what it's like. And you're muted, by the way, I think.
Yeah, it's been a super long time back in my, late teens. So yeah, beautiful country up there though. Beautiful.
Why is it taking you so long to go back, man? Is it just time or?
Well, I've been out of California since 1982. I mean, as far as Northern California, lived in Southern California for 13 years, and now I'm in Arizona. Been in Arizona since 2004. So, but look at that.
Yeah, and I'm elated that they're a sponsor of this program for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, though, it's an ad read I could actually espouse with conviction, where I can be genuine and authentic, telling folks it's paradise, it's beautiful, national parks, state parks, some of the tallest and biggest trees in the world. You've got the coast, obviously, but you got redwood forests going up to the coast. You have these massive cliffs where you have these amazing hiking trails at the bottom. You've got breweries, you've got wineries, you've got a lot to do. Check out Visit Humboldt if you're looking for a place to travel that's maybe new for you, maybe not. Maybe you want to go back. I used to call the place home. I still go back at least once a year because I loved it that much. Go have fun. Check out visithumboldt.com or DM me. I can be a resource for you as well. And have fun. Have the time of your life. Give me some feedback if you go, because I love to hear how your adventure went. Tonight's episode also brought to you by MyBookie. March Madness is not only here, it's actually April now, but the Final Four is about to tip off, and every game is a chance for you to cash in, whether it's, again, the Final Four, whether it's the NBA. If you bet on the Warriors tonight, congratulations. And my bookie, if you use the promo code MM50, will boost your bankroll with a deposit bonus designed to help you make the most of your money. And if you don't want a bonus, that's okay too. Just make sure you let them know that we here at Golden Days sent you. But I'm guessing you want a bonus. Use the promo code MM50. Bet on every game, anytime, from anywhere, only with my bookie. You can follow Dan Coach Emilio on Twitter. You know what? I'm not going to try to guess that because I know it's like, what is it? Actually, you know what? I will guess it, Dan. Is it NorCal Sports? Hold on. It's NorCal Sports. I don't remember the last part of it.
NW.
Thank you. We got Ryan Smith joining us as well. Let me actually.
Hey, Ryan. Good to see you.
Set this up so the your names are all showing here, and we wait for Larry Kruger to join us as well. I think Coach Dan, this is your first appearance on Golden Days, at least. I believe so. Welcome to the show. Ryan is back. Good to see you, brother. The Golden State Warriors. I did not expect to win tonight. I'm going to be honest. The Denver Nuggets had beaten them 9 straight times entering this game, but lo and behold, we get a performance that should not be a surprise if you know Stephen Curry, but that man is possessed. And I think we're about to see something very special this year if the team is healthy. But let's start with this game tonight. A game that the Warriors, after starting slow, took control. This game really swung in the second quarter when Nikola Jokic went to the bench. And the Warriors never looked back after that. They took advantage of it, and the momentum stayed on their side beyond there. 118-104, the final. Dan, I'll start with you, man. Your reaction to the Warriors winning this game and the big picture implications of it, if any, from your perspective. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, to come back off of a back-to-back and being gone for 2 weeks, and to come out and, get down by 12 kind of early, 42-30 or something that was like that, and then to come back and take the lead at halftime just shows the heart of this team, because Jimmy Butler is just so much more than what he does on the court. His attitude, his demeanor, you got 3 dogs in Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy that just will not lose. They refuse to lose. And that's why I put $10 on this team. In fact, I put $10 to win 1,000 before the trade deadline when it was 1,000 to 1. And
to win the title, to do what?
To win the title. To win the title.
Wow. So it was 1,000 to 1, and you put 10. So you haven't. Oh my God! So you're going to win 10 grand if I got my math right?
I put $10. I'll win $1,000. I'll win
$8 grand. Okay, but still,
yeah, it was 1,000 to 1 basically.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay, so
I had a chance. I actually had more, and when they didn't get KD, and it didn't look like they were going to get anybody, I cashed it in and got my money back. And then I said, and then as soon as they got Butler, I tried to do it again, and the odds had dropped. And so, but yeah, I think this team can win the title this year. I really do, because not only do they have the bench, the depth, but they've got the heart and they got the pedigree. If the MVP was broken up into quarters, like the last 20 games of the year, Steph would be MVP of this league.
You know what's interesting, by the way? I'm glad you brought that up. Stephen Curry, for the first time all season, is in the top 5 of MVP finalists. Insanely. That's wow. How impressive his performance has been lately. And Ryan, we bring you in. Great to see you. Larry Kruger setting up. I think I'm gonna bring him in just a second here. Ryan, your reaction, brother. This was, again, pleasant surprise for me, at least, for the Warriors to come away victorious in this snap in the 9-game losing streak. Good to see you, brother. I'm sorry your handle's cut off there. I think people can follow you on Twitter at West Coast Rye. I have no clue.
West Coast Smitty.
West Coast Smitty, thank you. Let's bring Larry in as well. Okay, and now we got all 4 of us. Oh, we interrupted a sip of scotch. Was that scotch? Was that tequila? What was that, Larry? What were you drinking? Right, a little.
I've been drinking beer all day, but I'm kind of trying to, trying to sober up with just a little straight vodka on
Yeah,
the
a little hair of
rocks.
the dog. Yeah, dude, nothing wrong with that.
It's actually water. It's water, but
real fast. I asked Ryan what his reaction.
I decided to do an in-game, deal. I mean, I never have done what's it called, the watch party. Never done the watch party before. Decided to do that. I've only done it once before today. And what do we get today? We get a fucking 4-hour baseball game.
Oh,
a 4-hour baseball game, and I'm drinking beers, and I'm like, I could have folded into the couch about a half hour ago, but Pods lifted me out with his performance tonight. I don't know if you guys have talked that much about him, but
we just started. Wait, hold on, Larry, you're buzzed right now. We're catching you with a heater.
Yeah, I'm coming down. I'm coming down.
Oh no! Oh, you need a Red Bull, dude. You need a Red Bull and maybe certain drugs that some people snort. I'm guessing that would be the magic elixir for you to immediately snap back into your A game. With that,
it's been a good day. It's been a good day. I mean, we've got 49er draft trade rumors. We've got Warriors beating Denver, snapping the Nuggets ownage on the Warriors. We've got the Giants winning on opening day. Me and Danny sitting around all day, just chopping it up. Very, very fun day. But I just wanted to say that tonight, I mean, I don't know how much you guys have talked about this, but
we barely have started. We just started when you got here.
Oh, okay. Well, to me, I mean, there's a lot of things we could talk about in this game. One, the Warriors injured players all, nutted up and played. Okay, that's first and foremost. There were 3 guys that were questionable to go in this thing, and they all went. So that's one. 2, it was a big game as far as regular season games are concerned. Why?
Yeah.
Because the Denver Nuggets stand between the Warriors and their goal, and the Warriors know it, and everybody knows it. And then I thought it was an exceptional game for Pajemski because, obviously Steph, and he had a great game, and, Jimmy Butler had 19, but Pajemski is making the game look easy. And it's like, it's not, the players sometimes overthink it and they fight it and they don't let the game come to them. And, they try to force things. Pajemski right now is playing so under control. He'd rather take the good look from 16 than the contested look from 9. He's under control. He's playing with pace. He's playing smart. He's making the right basketball decision. That the decision to draft that kid, and a lot of people questioned it. At times I've questioned it. But you know what? I think the Warriors are being proven correct on this one. This kid I'm really excited to see because his shot gets better and better. Fitz said it after the game. In the second half of the year, he's like or in the last month or whatever, he's like the second best 3-point shooting player in the league. I mean, his threes have come from that shot looks awful, don't shoot it. He can't shoot that shot earlier this year to, man, I mean, he really looks good shooting it. So I feel really excited to see not just Jimmy Butler with this team, but Pajemski in the playoffs with this kind of new, improved. He's playing with total confidence and at a totally different level and has found another level. So that's what I got out of tonight. There were a lot of things to talk about, but to me, if he consistently finds this other level, wow. I mean,
it's a game changer.
Maybe Golden State's got a shot.
Yeah. Big time game changer. And again, the old adage in, at least for the NBA, probably across all sports, is the difference between a good and great player is consistency. And Brandon Pajemski last night shot 8 of 10 from deep. He scored 28 points. I had no idea what to expect tonight. He started the game off a little slow, but finishes second on the team in scoring with 26 points, shot 50% from beyond the arc, just following up on your sentiments there. But Ryan, I asked Ryan a question, and that was like 10 minutes ago, so I'd love to hear from him. What was your reaction, brother? Great to see you too.
Well, first of all, it is hilarious because I think it was 7 days ago when we last did this.
Yes.
a week ago.
A week ago,
and I
correct.
think like we might have opened the talk up talking about Pajemski and like, how does this guy get such a long leash and like all that kind of talk. So it just shows how quickly like things can just flip like that. But I think it goes back to like what we were talking about a little bit last time. Like one of the great subtle things that Butler does is bringing Butler in completely defines Pajemski's role. Because Pajemski at times, you know, he started acting like he was really the number 2 option on this offense. And I think Butler coming in, it's clear Butler, Draymond, those are the guys. Now Pajemski can just like, you know, he can just be a star role player. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't. It's almost hard for me to believe it. Like, that he could really be this hot and continue it. Some of it actually kind of worries me because it's like, oh my God, now this guy thinks, you know, he's really that guy.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I promise.
Yeah. It does remind me a little bit of 22 when Steph went down towards the end of the season and Jordan Poole just got on an absolute heater and just rode that shit straight into the playoffs and was just a monster. So I'm kind of, that's kind of like that's the vibes I'm picking up right now. Really though, it was like the other thing I brought up last week was my number one concern for this team was just, I just wanted, if I was going to believe in this team, I needed to see that same Steph that we saw on the road trip where he was in New York and he was in Phil, and like he was just, you know, he looked like MVP Steph again. And I started to get a little bit nervous after the injuries. He started looking a little different. Then all of a sudden he drops a 50 ball, then the Lakers game, and then again tonight. And it's like playing on a back-to-back, and the amount of like passion and him just like running around, like he had that look in his eyes, like that everybody knows. And like he just has that little extra step to his game. So it was just great. I mean, Draymond also is on an absolute defensive heater. Like it's insane the plays this guy's making. When he stuffed Russell Westbrook on that just one-on-one fast break, like that was unreal. Like he's putting together just in the past like 2.5 weeks, like he's putting together an entire depoy, highlight reel and one mixtape basically.
He's got that thing locked up.
Yes, he does. Now he does. I think now certainly he does. Yeah, I agree.
Now he does. And obviously this was like a mental hurt. Like there's a reason Kerr wanted to play the vets tonight. They needed to mentally get over Denver. The fact that Denver completely bullied them last time without Jokic, without Murray, Aaron Gordon completely dominated them. They needed that win. I do have to say, though, my God, is Jokic insane. I've never seen him so aggressive from the three-point line. That one stretch in the third quarter, holy hell, when he was just wetting. So, feeling good about the Warriors. It's just, dude, it's so tough. The West is crazy. It feels like the NCAA tournament. I don't know how much you guys were paying attention to the tournament in college basketball this year, but it's almost like Gonzaga. Like Gonzaga was a team that could make the Final Four. Like they could have made the championship game. But it's like they ran into Houston in that second round game. And it's like, that's what the West feels like this year. It's like the Clippers look awesome. The T-Wolves look awesome. Yeah. You know, the Rockets tonight beat the hell out of the Thunder. Like I don't really know. It seems like everybody's good.
Right now, the only seeds that are locked up are 1 and 2. That's it. Everything else is 3 through 8. They could finish anywhere because the Lakers have 30 losses at 3 and the Clippers at 8 have 32. The Lakers still have to play OKC twice in OKC. And I believe they have
now that's good knowledge.
They have another tough game. They have Houston, and they got to play it at Dallas, who's fighting. Dallas wants to get the 9 seed so they can have a home game. So the Lakers could lose 3 more games. I think they lose at least 2. And we'll see.
We're going to break the standings down in a bit. Larry, by the way, you're besides Damian LaRoche in the chat saying you look cheeky or you are cheeky. Draktar, no. Larry thinks you're high as a kite. Damian's also adding no homo, but I love the way Kruger stares at the camera. It's mischievous.
Thank you.
I have become death destroyer of words, saying it looks like you broke the over 50 bench record. Larry, can you enlighten the audience who got here late? What's going on with you, brother?
What's going on with me?
Yeah.
I've been drinking all day. Have you ever been drinking all day? It's called being wasted. Now I'm not really, I'm not really.
You got a
wasted.
buzz. You got a good buzz, right? Is
I'm
that
not
fair?
wasted. I'm not wasted. But I've been sitting around. Danny, I've been on a lot. I did a 4 goddamn hour live stream on a baseball game.
Yeah, we're able to do a nice long.
We did a full mock draft in the middle of the baseball game.
But isn't that easy to do, Larry? Can't you just at times just take a nap and then wake up and then keep the thing going and no one would miss a beat because it's baseball? Sorry, that was kind of harsh.
Yeah, I could just go AI, just artificial. No, but it was just it's a lot of day drinking, and what can I say? I haven't done my day drinking in a while, so. But I was committed to it.
You're a family man. Day drinking is a bit extreme, I think.
Well, we came up with this Friday night thing, and then the Giants had these 2 Friday day games, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh well, I guess we're gonna do this in the daytime. So anyway, but it worked out. But it was a 4-hour game, and that's a long time. And I probably polished off 3 tall Plinies, which I mean, come on, that's not crazy, but whatever.
Well, the Warriors again.
I'm still a little buzzing, and then I kind of crashed out, watched the game, fell asleep a little bit in the first quarter because I thought they were going to get run. I'm like, oh, here it goes. They're going to get run, and then they give up 44 in the first quarter, and then flipped the switch and decided they were going to bone up and or bow up, and I should say, and show up and play. This was an impressive game. I thought this was one of the biggest games of the year. Why? Just because they're going to have to face this team in a very short amount of time with lots on the table, like the whole season riding. And you don't want to get into that situation where they've got ownage on you and they feel like they can beat you with Jokic, without Jokic, with this guy, without that guy. We own them. No, you don't want that. So you had to send a message. Golden State did not play their best game tonight by any stretch. They weren't cooking on all cylinders, but their guys played hurt. Pods rose to the level. Curry continues to be a revelation at 37. I mean, to be able to do what he does at 37, it's just somebody in here. Gary used to hate it when people would be like, we're blessed to see this Giants team, and people blessed. I mean, come on, blessed is your grandson on your, come on, all that. But somebody said, we ought to cherish these Steph years. I forget who it was. Somebody had a super in here that said
right
cherish.
Here, very first one. Yeah, this is a
silent spoke.
I don't know how you pronounce this. Sir.
I think it's silent misspelled. I don't know, but whatever.
Oh, there you go. There, thank you.
Maybe. But he says, cherish this. We're not going to see it again 30. And that sounds cheeseball. Sorry, Silent. But at the same time, it's kind of like true. I mean, this guy is, I feel like the way I felt watching Joe, I'm sure the way my dad felt watching Willie Mays, watching Steph Curry, you just feel like, man, it's such a finite time. Your career goes by so fast. This guy is already 37, and they got a shot, man. They've got a shot. They've added Jimmy Butler. They've got some pieces, got a ton of experience. They've got some depth. They got some young guys who may or may not rise to the occasion in the playoffs, and they're live, man. They're live. I don't know if they're going to win it, but you know what's cool about this? We are absolutely going to get a Warrior run at it. I was wondering if we were going to get a run at it. I thought they were going to win 38 games. I didn't think that much of them.
Well, that was pre-Jimmy Butler. In your defense,
pre-Jimmy Butler, but I didn't think they could make the deal or a deal. I didn't think it wasn't like, oh yeah, there's easily a deal out there that can save this season. I didn't think there was a deal out. Did you guys think there was a deal out there?
Yes.
And then to get Jimmy Butler, to then make him happy, to have him come in and seamlessly fit hand in glove, and then to see Quentin Post and the emergence of some of the youth, man, I'm amazed. I'm excited. This is going to be a great springtime. We're going to get Giants baseball. We're going to get Warrior basketball, playoff games. I'm hoping Golden State can get at least to the conference finals. I'm hoping.
I'll say this, that the trade for Luka to the Lakers did 2 great things for the Warriors. 1, it got rid of AD. And 2, it fired up Joe to say, I am getting a superstar. come hell or high water, I will get a superstar. There's no way that Luka goes to the Lakers and I sit here idly and run the rest of the season out the way it did. So I think it benefited the Warriors hugely because with AD gone, the matchup is great now it's not great, but it's much, much better. You saw it last night. I think the Warriors are deeper and a better defensive team. And Luka's a cone. Okay. He's just a cone out there on defense. And LeBron, he only plays defense when he really wants to. So I think the Warriors in a series that they face up against the Lakers, I think they can beat them.
Yeah, and the only team that ever worried me was the Nuggets. Like you said, I don't know. Look, I don't know if the Jimmy Butler trade doesn't happen if Luka doesn't go to the Lakers. A lot of that I think came down to the price dropping, right? I mean, ultimately the Warriors gave up practically nothing for him. Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a first-round pick in next year's draft, which was going to be very low to begin with. So they didn't give up much. The price went down. But I do 100% agree with you in terms of Anthony Davis not being with the Lakers. That is advantageous for the Warriors. Before I want to get into something here in a second with all you folks, both among the hosts and the audience, but I want to play the sound before that real quick. And this is not from tonight. This is actually from last night's game. This is Stephen Curry after the game. Side note, Stephen Curry in these last 3 games. This is just an unbelievable, unreal stretch. In the last 4 days, the Warriors beat the Grizzlies on the road. They beat the Lakers on the road. They beat the Nuggets at home in 4 days. Stephen Curry in that process at 37 years of age, like Larry Krueger said, put up 125 points in those 3 games. And he also said this after the Lakers game in regards to one of his teammates that a lot of haters like to bring up. Curious to know if those haters will still exist after this attribution. Here is Stephen Curry.
To account his effort defensively and then also what he did on offense, passing the ball, scoring, obviously. Was this the best game you've ever seen JK play?
I think we need to kind of just let this guy play basketball. We don't have to have a declaration after every game. We don't have to be in a situation where we're judging every minute he's out there. I understand he's the next in line to, come into his own as an NBA player. But God, I wish my 4th year was the greatest game ever. It was a bad game ever. How was his rotation? Like, he's figuring it out. If we're going to win at the highest level, he has to be a part of it. So keep doing what he's doing.
And we fast forward to tonight's game.
I've been saying that for a while, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I've been saying what Steph just said there for a while.
Same, absolutely. So we fast forward to tonight's game, and the Golden State Warriors, first of all, Jonathan Kuminga was a 6th man. I was very curious what was going to happen because Gary Payton II, shockingly, is back a week after tearing a ligament in his shooting hand. Now, what GP2 also did, because he came in the game early, and I was very worried about this initially because Steve Kerr just a week ago said that Kuminga's minutes were going to come from GP2's absence, right? And so when I heard that, I was like, holy shit here. So when GP2 comes back, does that mean we're going to see less of Kuminga again? Thankfully, Kuminga was a 6th man off the bench tonight. And then, Too Much, I think astutely, writes in the chat, after GP2 tried shooting, Kerr immediately took him out. And I noticed the exact same thing because GP2 came in and he put up a 3-point shot early. It did not look good. And we only saw GP2 again in spot minutes after that in very wise moments, like at the end of a quarter, for example, where it's a defensive possession. Then you saw Gary Payton II come in. That's a wise usage. But I bring up the Kuminga part of this because I thought he played well. I haven't even looked at his stats yet. His stats tonight, if these are correct, in a game where he was desperately needed, and thankfully Stephen Curry saying that will shut these haters up. Because Kuminga is absolutely needed if the Warriors are going to make some noise. He played 18 minutes, 15 seconds tonight. All he did was put up 6 points, and 1 rebound. But the defense, the size, the athleticism, he plays a facilitator role. All of this is vitally important. And tonight was a relief seeing that usage. Larry, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Steph's comments and Kuminga in his role tonight and for the rest of the year?
Well, I wish he had said it in November, because I just can't stand the overanalysis of Kuminga. Just let him go.
Agreed.
Let him play a little bit. It's just too much. And I do agree with there's somebody in the chat who was like, if Kuminga had been given Pajemski's opportunities, he'd be way better off by now. And I do kind of believe that.
Yeah.
But just let Kuminga play. Just let him play. And I do totally agree with Steph. I've been saying it all year. If the Warriors have any shot of a return trip to the finals, it's going to be because when they get to the playoffs, guys like Moody and Kuminga really find themselves and get it going. So I know it seems like there's nothing left to do and they're playing out the stretch and there's 5 or 6 games left, right? 5 games left.
5. No, 5. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 games left. And I know it seems like, 5 games, there's nothing really to do. I disagree with that. I think these are crucially important 5 games. I think you got to get Moody and Kuminga going into the playoffs feeling like preferably I'd love to see those guys both have a big statistical night in one of these last 5 games and just get some momentum and confidence. They're the young guys. If those guys can fire, the veterans are going to fire. If the veterans fire and the young guys don't do anything, they're going to check out. I mean, I don't know exactly when. My guess is against Denver or OKC. But I'm not sure exactly who gets them, but I know they can't go to the finals if they don't have the 2 young guys really going. So
fair.
We'll see. We'll see if they can do it.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on that, man?
I didn't really take away anything crazy from Kuminga tonight. I saw they had him guarding Jokic a few times, kind of like the Lakers did with Rui.
Effectively, by the way.
Yeah, effectively.
I
did. And I thought that was interesting. That was probably my big takeaway from Kuminga. I will say also just on the Lakers night, I think Kuminga weirdly, the Warriors need Kuminga desperately versus the Lakers. There's something there where Kuminga tends to play really well versus the Lakers. And they just need a guy who can get to the cup and draw fouls. That's it. They need that. The only other guy they have that can do that is Jimmy Butler.
Dan, what are your thoughts on Steph's comments about Kuminga and just Kuminga's role in the team in general tonight? Not a big stat line, but I don't think the stats represented his value. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think with the addition of Jimmy Butler coming to this team, Jonathan Kuminga's learning how he should be playing basketball. Don't overdo it. Don't try to create when things aren't there. Look for the pass. And you saw it last night. I thought the way he played last night was phenomenal. And, Kuminga, as long as he plays under control and plays within the structure of the offense, he's going to be fine. It's when he starts trying to do too much and the ball's not falling, then he presses even more if it's not falling. If he just plays within the confines of the offense, the flow of the game, he's going to be fine. As far as Pods, I see some comments, Pods getting more minutes and more playing time than Kuminga. It's really because of need. The Warriors don't have a backup point guard. Oh, you're muted, Cy.
Sorry, my bad. I was going to say Pajemski doesn't play backup point guard, though. He plays
shooting. Now he starts, but he was kind of he is really the only other ball handler on the team that.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of them. Yeah, and that goes again to Kerr and how much he values ball handling. He just loves it. Gentlemen, I'm ready to make a prediction. Tonight was enough for me to see. And I know Jamal Murray wasn't there. All right. So some people might say, well, the Nuggets weren't in full strength. I don't think Jamal Murray would have made a difference in this game tonight. That's just me. I saw enough from these 3 games. And it's not just these 3 games. It's the look in Stephen Curry's eyes. Stephen Curry, when he plays like this, when he looks like this, I don't know if you saw that moment, for example, where he was yelling at Buddy Hield a little bit in the game, giving him a stern speech.
What was that going on? Because Buddy Hield and him had 2 second half, I don't want to say confrontations, but, very pointed conversations. One time it was Steph to Buddy. The other time it was Buddy to Steph. What was going on?
Buddy was responding. It took him 2 minutes to follow up. I think it was a turnover. I think
it was the play. Buddy was going in for a layup, then literally lost the ball midair and launched it out of bounds. Then Guy Santos dove into the stands to try and save it. Went back the other way for points, and then Curry got into him.
Yeah, but regardless, it's Stephen Curry right now. He's in this mode. He's in this zone where I feel if you accidentally got in his path, and he happened to be holding like a knife, you might die. You might get murdered, and he wouldn't even realize it. He just keep going. He's in this narrow focused mentality where I think he sees the championship. And let me play the open for you again real fast here, because it proves it goes to the point that I'm going to make. Just watch this for 5 seconds.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win.
We are going to win the championship.
And I agree with Dre. I'm in. I had to see it, man. I had to see this. I had to see the Warriors elevating their aggressiveness, their intensity, where we haven't seen this level of Warriors play in a few years, where if you're another team and you're up against this Warriors squad, you have no chance in hell. There's nothing you can do when Steph is in this mode. So I'll add a little asterisk to what I'm about to say, and the asterisk is this. They got to be healthy, obviously. And that's a concern, because Steph is 37, Dre's 35, Jimmy Butler's 35. But if these guys, whether we're talking about the old guards, Steph, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, even players like Kevon Looney, who do provide a very valuable service, if GP2 is utilized like he was tonight in spot minutes, not given heavy minutes where he's overused. Meanwhile, you have the 2 timeline plan in full effect right now. The youngsters, Pajemski, Kuminga, Moody, Gui Santos, do not understate his value here with the energy he brings. He was causing problems tonight. Quinn Post should have come in the game earlier tonight, better late than never. He made a profound difference in this game. I'm in. I've seen enough. If this team is healthy, no one's stopping them. They're winning the 2025 World Championship. I'm in. Your thoughts, Larry? I'll start with you.
Yeah, well,
what I guess why would I be wrong is what I'm going to ask you. What would prevent my prediction from coming to reality from your perspective?
Well, I mean, I just think there's some other teams that are a little bit better. I mean, I kind of like Boston and Cleveland in the East, and I kind of like Denver in the West. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a very good chance. I mean, Golden State's going to put on a run. They're going to put on a run. I know. I think, if you didn't know that by now, if you don't know, now you know. You know what I mean? I mean, there you go. They're going to put on a run. We know they're going to put on a run. The question is, I know they can win the first round. I think they can win the second round. It's going to depend on the matchups, but the more I look at Denver, at least tonight, and OKC doesn't have great size. I wonder maybe Golden State could get out of the West, but I still like Cleveland and Boston in the East.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why I'm not worried about Cleveland. I am confident they are not making the finals this year. They don't have a number one guy to rely on in the postseason. If you think Donovan Mitchell is just magically going to turn into your go-to guy to win a title, I've got a Blockbuster video store to sell you. If you think that Darius Garland is a number one guy in a title team, I've got an old aspiration to sell you. Cleveland does not have a number one guy that could win a championship for them. I get in the same way that I'm going to
number one beyond. Forget them then. Let's not talk about them. Let's talk about
us. We're talking Boston.
Because Boston, I mean, the Warriors will always be. It's about us. It's about us. All right, let's talk about you. You're old, and that's and this thing's not going to be decided. It's April 4th. We're getting excited. It's not going to be decided for 2 months. And 2 months from now, guess what you're going to be? Older. And it's a war of attrition. And your best players are all older players. So that's why I'm talking about Kuminga. That's why I'm talking about Moses Moody. Because to me, they have to rest Steph liberally in this final stretch. The playoffs will help because there's more days off. But it's also really intense. So it's a trade-off. I just think Golden State's got a shot, but it's their biggest thing is if they canceled the first round, I would like Golden State chances even more because I think they need a shorter track. There's too much track left for what if they are. I think they're going to fade.
What if I told you that if the Warriors avoid the play-in and they become a playoff team as they're currently on track to make, they're going to get a week off between the end of the regular season and the start of the postseason. Does that? I mean, they got a shot, but once again, the thing started in November, and it's not going to be settled till June.
And that's a long freaking season. And they're going to need some good fortune, right? They've had some good fortune in some of their runs. They're going to need some good fortune. Somebody's going to have to go down. Somebody's going to have to not play well. They're going to have to stay incredibly healthy. They're going to have to stay remarkably fresh, despite the fact that Steph's 37, Draymond's old, Jimmy Butler's old. They're going to need, as I said, the young guys, Pods and Kuminga and Moody to rise up. All these things can happen, right? But they're going to need them to happen if they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I would say this, that no team needs the week off more than the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are actually putting up a lot more effort right now just to get into the playoff seeds, the top 6. So they're kind of pushing themselves. I would say if something happened negatively in the last 5 games where they got pushed out into the play-in, they could not even make the playoffs.
I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just me.
They've got a 1-game cushion over Memphis and Minnesota because they hold the tiebreaker.
Correct.
But you don't want, they really can only lose 1, assuming those teams win out.
Gentlemen, the Warriors just won 3 games in 4 nights over Memphis, LA, and Denver. What else do you need to see to convince yourselves? Ryan, what do you think?
See, it's an interesting thing. OKC is, all the metrics say they are one of the best regular season teams of all time.
Ever. Yeah.
They're incredibly deep. I actually thought they were going to go to the championship. I thought they were going to go to the finals last year. And I really think if not for just some fluky shooting, they would have. I think they would have beat the Mavs, and then I think they would have beat the T-Wolves. And I think, they could have beat the Celtics. I love Caruso. They added Caruso. They needed more size. They added Hartenstein. And it's like that whole Hartenstein and Chet, they're still figuring it out. They're just unbelievably deep. SGA is legitimately a number 1 guy on a championship team. All that said, I weirdly feel good about the Warriors matchup versus both the Thunder and the Rockets. The top 2,
agree there, yeah.
The top 2 seeds, I actually would pick the Warriors to win those series. Where it gets unfortunate is that I don't love their matchup versus Denver. I would still pick the Warriors just because I'm a homer, but I don't love them versus Denver. I just think
tonight did not matter much to you. Is that what you're saying?
I think they wanted it more. I think the Warriors wanted it more. It meant more to them. And also, no Jamal Murray. I just look at some of those lineups that Denver has where they're so big. It's like they have, Christian Brown is, he's whatever, 6'5", but he's a good defender. And then it's like they have Peyton Watson, who's like 6'9", and
that's
Porter,
part of the reason why.
That's part
of the reason why the Jamal Murray thing is not, to me, wasn't as big of a deal, is because Peyton Watson, like you said, he's a huge guard. You're getting a little smaller. You're losing some defense, swapping Jamal Murray for Peyton Watson in your starting 5. But anyways, I started to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So I just don't love that matchup. I also still don't love the Lakers matchup, even though I felt really good after the win the other night. That also was, you have to, Pods had the game Pods had the game of his life. Luka had maybe his worst game of the entire season. We have to agree on that.
By design.
By design.
Well, it was because the Warriors offense, all they did was attack him, and that he wore down, man. When you're tired, your shots are not going to fall down like they normally do. And defensively, Moses Moody was fantastic, dude. His 7'2" wingspan clearly caused Luka issues. Not to mention, we didn't talk about this either, Quentin Post talking shit to Luka at the free throw line. Did you see that? Calling him a flopper? I fucking loved it.
I loved it too. I love Quentin Post. It's also the free throw. Steph got like 14 free throws, which I love. He should get more free throws. But, we've seen a million Lakers Warrior. Like, it's going to end up going towards the Lakers. Even with Jimmy Butler, like, they're going to get the free throws. So, with all that going for the Warriors, they still, it was still a pretty slim margin. So, I just don't love I just don't like going against the refs. I don't like going against LeBron in a playoff series. I don't like going against Luka in a playoff series. Just the amount of bitching. And Austin Reeves kills the Warriors. He kills them. Every single time they play the Lakers, Austin Reeves kills them. So, and also all their kind of like scrubby or what they would consider their others, their Gabe Vincents and their Hachimuras, and like none of them were hitting threes really.
Well, Hachimura
was. But like the Gabe Vincents of the world, they weren't really hitting. So
What about this variable as well? And Larry, I'll go back to you here because in regards to Denver, and maybe let's say the argument from Ryan is that they did not want it as badly as the Warriors tonight. Denver also, very important to note, their starters had not played since Tuesday, largely because they were resting for this game. The Nuggets played Tuesday and lost at home against Minnesota. They lose the season series to the Timberwolves. Not just lose it, they get swept. That by itself is very fascinating to me, that Minnesota owns Denver. I don't know how that's going on, but it's a reality. But then the Nuggets the very next night rested their starters at home against the Spurs, lose that game 113-106. Now they've got a 2-game losing streak. Again, they rest their starters for this game tonight. They're fighting for playoff positioning. By them losing tonight, the Lakers have surpassed them. LA, despite losing last night to the Warriors, is now the 3 seed in the West, just a half game above the Golden State Warriors. Both Denver and LA just a half game ahead of the Warriors right now, although they both also own the tiebreaker, which is a huge obstacle. But with all that said, Larry, I'll throw it back to you here. Denver had 3 days off. They wanted this game, maybe not as badly as Golden State, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they didn't care either. I mean, they wanted to win this game too. Larry, your thoughts on whether or not Denver wanting it as bad as the Warriors makes a difference in the big picture?
I don't think it's about that. I really don't. I just think Golden State right now is in the midst of a portion of their season where it's so tough that they're just putting their head down and they're very diligent. They were just on a 6-game, 14-day road trip that saw them go 4-2. And then they get this unbelievable schedule where they come back off this 14-game road trip and they're playing the Lakers in LA, and then all of a sudden they're back here the next day on the second half of back-to-back. But if you look at Golden State, I think there was a couple things that you got to point out in this game. One, Golden State is really tough to beat at home right now. They're 10-1 in their last 11 at home. They're playing really, really well at home. Okay. Two, it's a very resilient basketball team. I mean, they give up 44 points in the first quarter, and they come back and flip the switch and turned on the defense. And, 20, you want to talk about the way this game was? I mean, with Jokic back, you'd say, well, Denver's going to have an advantage inside. Well, guess what? It was even on the glass, and Denver was plus 12 points in the paint. So Denver really did have the advantage inside, but 26 turnovers. That's where this game was lost.
Season high for the Nuggets.
26 turnovers. And if you want to credit Golden State, credit Golden State. If you want to say it was Denver, but that was it. It was the 26 turnovers. They got a nice 7-point win last night over the Lakers. I thought it was also a big moment for the Warriors. The Warriors, I think, in this game, maybe this is over dramatic, but I think this is the kind of game that brings a team together. Why? You had 3 guys in the pregame that were questionable to go. They looked each other in the eye and they said, we're going to go. And to me, that level of, we're bringing it. The Warriors then they come out, they get beat by 10 in the first quarter and give up 44. And you're like, oh my goodness, it's going to be a long day. They flipped the switch. Brought some intensity. And they were plus 12 at the 3-point line. That helped. But they're just hot right now. They've won 14 of 17. They're playing great since Jimmy Butler got here. As I said, they're 10-1 in the last 11 at home. They're at home. And that second quarter, they flipped the script.
Let me ask you this, Larry,
a crazy thing.
On the 26 turnovers, provided you watch this game as closely as maybe you should have to answer this question, but those 26 turnovers, like if it was mostly from sloppy play, if those were like unforced errors, if you will, I would agree with you that maybe then, okay, like Denver was just playing sloppy, but I watched the game, and from my observation, those were forced. Like most of those turnovers were the result of the Warriors just being aggressive defensively. Their hands were everywhere. I'm looking at the stats right now in terms of steals and blocks. The Warriors tonight finished with just 2 blocks, but 14 steals. 14. That's a huge number, side note. So knowing that and the fact that they had 14 steals, which represents a good chunk of those 26 turnovers, does that impress you more for the Warriors or is that irrelevant?
Well, to me, what impresses me is that late in the year, long year, playoffs are coming up. and they know this team stands between them and the title. And you think they can win the title. I think they can win the title. And they had lost 9 games in a row to this Denver team. And then Denver kicked their ass in the first quarter on their home floor. And I would love to hear what Steve Kerr said to those guys at the first quarter break. It's like, do you guys have any pride? Is anybody going to show? Because the second quarter was 32-16 Golden State, and the momentum was back on the Warriors side, and it didn't flip. So the Warriors, Jimmy's got the forearm. Steph's got the tailbone. There's 3 or 4 guys that are really banged up. They all decided to go because they know Denver stands between them and their goals. And despite the fact it wasn't a spectacular night, they still found a way to get it done and
it was
win
impressive,
kind of easily at the end.
It was. And I take offense to R. Jonesy, who calls me a homer. I'm the furthest thing from that. I get so much shit from people for not being a homer because I'll call things out when they deserve it. And he's calling me a homer because I'm saying the Warriors' 26 turnovers that they forced on Denver is a homer take because of Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook had 4 turnovers tonight. So explain the other 22 of those. I know he had a couple of awful plays, but don't sit here and pretend that Russell Westbrook single-handedly gave up 26 turnovers. That's an asinine take, and I am not a homer. I just had to address
if
that.
you had that exact same take, but you were in tier 1, they would not say that.
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. And again, in case you're unfamiliar with what Larry means, the NBA has a class system for their media where you're tier 1, you get access to the locker room, or you're an outsider looking in and you get to maybe interview guys in their interview room. It's a class system. It's not right. Dan, your thoughts on the turnovers tonight and the Warriors defense, which has been elite. Not just even before Jimmy Butler got there, the defense was solid, but post Jimmy Butler trade, it's one of the best in the NBA. Your
this
thoughts?
Answer is also coming from a guy who's not tier 1. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
Correct. I think you're muted, Dan. Oh, I'm sorry. Larry, I should have let him. I'm out. My fault.
Oh, you should have let Dan go for like a minute there. That would have been really good.
Yeah. I think this defense is, the way they're capable of switching, 1 through 5. I mean, Draymond, obviously defensive player of the year with his ability to switch on anybody. And, Steph used to be kind of a liability out there on defense years ago. That was a knock. And then he bulked up and he plays.
Yes, sir.
I think he plays very solid defense. You see him sometimes get switched up, and he's got a guy that's 6'8", and he's guarding down on the post, and he holds his own until he gets help. So I think the defense is excellent. And I'll tell you, the guy that really, to me, impresses me the most on this team defensively is Moses Moody. Besides, obviously Jimmy and Draymond get all the love, but Moses Moody, he's got like a 7'2" wingspan.
Correct.
And he can he's kind of like taking over for what Wiggs, when Wiggs was guarding the best player.
Yes,
Moody
sir.
can guard, and he just.
By the way, I'm drinking right now because I take a drink every time Danny throws a nickname of a player.
I was going to say, if we played a drinking game watching this Warriors game tonight, and you took a shot every time.
Wiggs. Okay, Wiggs. Pods.
But if you took a shot every time Bob Fitzgerald was making excuses for the Warriors because of the schedule, you would have been hammered.
Oh, my
drunk.
God.
Like 20 different
complaining
references.
about officiating.
It's ridiculous. Anyways, Dan, continue. I'm sorry.
What is it with all the Bay Area
I'm
announcers
just
that complain about the officiating? Drives me crazy. All right. But yeah, I just think the Warriors defense looks great. I mean, they're boxing out, which is great because they don't have the height, and sometimes they can't fully grab the rebound, but they can tip it to somebody, that they see. They use their size well, being undersized against some of the bigger teams. So the biggest scare for me, we talked about teams in the West. I know a lot of people think Minnesota is a good matchup. I don't know if it is in the playoffs because of Naz Reid and Gobert and McDaniel. And then you got what's the guy? I'm drawing a blank now.
Johnson.
No, the
Williams.
DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo.
I mean, the T-Wolves were tough. I mean, we're having a rough time in the beginning because they weren't cohesive. They weren't meshing early on. And there was talks that they might even get rid of DiVincenzo because he wasn't fitting in at all. And now that they've been playing together, and then they had that big fight about a week ago, that's going to bring that. They were getting beat. All of a sudden, they get in this big, massive brawl with Detroit, and DiVincenzo's getting his neck. And they are playing well. They're a team that scares me in the playoffs. I don't know about you guys.
Bill M says boxing out. You can tell Dan's 80. That's just not right. It's not like he said, "Hey, I'm sitting on the Chesterfield."
Oh no, but I hear what you're saying, Dan. I look
boxing out. Come on, that's a normal term. Boxing out.
The Warriors surprisingly have played Minnesota well this year, but I'm with you. It's not a team I want to see. That's a fair assessment, I think. Ryan, what do you think?
About their defense? I mean,
and about just Minnesota, because I know you've expressed concern about that.
I don't like the Minnesota matchup. I just don't. They're so long and athletic. And you just think, I mean, I'm not a huge Randall guy. I do think that's like there's way too many like Randall possessions at the end of these late games. But I mean, they proved it last year. I mean, they absolutely punked the Nuggets. And I mean, Jaden McDaniels like seemingly turns into like Scottie Pippen in big games and hits threes, and Conley still is like a stable force, and DiVincenzo, he's an absolute dog. That's a scary team. I just don't. I'm mentally. It's weird. Like, I don't like the T-Wolves matchup. I don't like the Clippers matchup. Luckily, probably not going to have to play those guys, you know?
Hopefully. I mean, then again, well, first of all, I want to get to these pay chats real fast. Bryce Wade dropping $1.99, bringing up Stephen Curry, yelling at Buddy Hield in the game. Yasarian He's $1.99 saying the Warriors smoked the Nuggles. You goddamn right they did. HR $2 saying the Warriors are a possible 3 seed. This is nuts. And that leads to this graphic because the Golden State Warriors after tonight's game are now just a half game back of both LA and Denver for the 3 seed. This chart, courtesy
aren't they one behind LA and a half behind Denver?
You might be right because let me refresh my standings here in case. Good call.
You may need to refresh. You may need to refresh.
I hit the refresh, but the Lakers are a full game ahead of the Warriors.
Thank you for correcting that. I really appreciate that.
So
I'm all about credibility in my stats.
This graphic reveals the odds for the Warriors. They have a 16.8% chance of the 3 seed now. 12.8% for the 4 seed, 19.5% for 5, 17.2% for the 6 seed, 15.8% for the 7 seed, and 10.2% for the 8 seed. I think what you can summarize from this chart is who the F knows where the Warriors are going to end up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the best. But the fact that it's this wide open.
Could I potentially not be on the bottom? It's not good for my self-esteem.
Fair. How here? Done.
Thank you.
Here, I'll do this. Let me do this. I'll go to the bottom, sir. You do deserve it.
Thank
you deserve it. You deserve it.
No, it's really more about my self-esteem.
Of course.
No, I'm just joking. Let me ask you this. So you're analyzing this shit. So I depend on you for this.
I try.
What are we rooting for here in the final week? Golden State is in the 5 seed. You're right. The Lakers are 47-30. The Warriors are 46-31. The Lakers are the 3 seed. So the Warriors absolutely could wind up being the 3 seed in the West behind OKC and Houston. But what is the desired route? Who do you like? It's all about matchups. I agree wholeheartedly with what Rise said. I mean, Minnesota technically is behind the Warriors, but they do have size and talent. And I don't know that the matchup's great. I kind of like Golden State against everybody in the West except for Denver. But there's OKC, there's Houston, Lakers. What's the best route, you think, for Golden State? What are we rooting for? Do we want to be the 5 seed? Do you want to be the –
I'll tell you what the best route is.
Yeah, what's
the best route is them getting the 3 seed and facing Memphis in the first round.
Ding, ding, ding. You are.
And then Houston wins their series and they can beat Houston. And then I don't know what happens.
3 gets the 6, right?
Correct.
Right.
So Memphis, who's in the 8th spot, would have to be in the 6th spot.
And again, this is how crazy it is. The separation from the 3 seed to the 8 seed right now is just 2 games. That's insane. That's insanity. Ryan, what do you think? I'll save my answer for last. What do you think?
I mean, what Dan said is the correct answer. If you can go 3 and play Memphis and then play Houston, hopefully in the second round, and avoid OKC until the 3rd round, that's the best thing. But other than that, I mean, honestly, that 7 seed, I just don't want to drop into the play-in. You know, I think these guys need the rest. You don't want to drop in the play-in, but that 7 to play the Rockets is nice.
How much rest do you get if you avoid the play-in?
A week.
A full week.
A full week. And we saw how Stephen Curry has looked after getting a week off for that tailbone bruise. It looks like a whole new person. A week is huge.
That's essential. Yeah, I would go as far as to say it's essential at this point. To not be in the play-in.
Agreed. My championship prediction is poofed if they're not a playoff team. That's a fair assessment. They got to get at least a top 6, but I'm also not worried about that. I agree with Dan and Ryan. 3 seed is what you want. Look, if Memphis is, I think, the ideal opponent for the first round, just because Ja Morant's going to melt down. That team is not going to make serious noise in the postseason. Even I hear what you guys are saying about Minnesota, but if Minnesota ended up being the Warriors' first round opponent, I'm not freaking out about it either. This is not Minnesota's year. This Minnesota team is not going to make a deep run into the postseason just because they don't have enough talent. Look, Anthony Edwards is phenomenal. Naz Reid is playing for a new contract, and we all know what he can provide already. But
oh, you got yourself muted.
See how far he goes.
Just nod your head.
So high. All right. Sai. You're muted.
Oh, that was my system. I'm sorry, glitched. Second, you get Houston.
But you made a hell of a point.
It was a hell of a point.
You're excellent.
Well, I don't know how
I
long.
agree. I agree with whatever.
You've been muted since it's 10:23. You've been muted.
Why did you wait to say something then?
It was you were muted at 9:45.
Why did you wait to say something?
Dude, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Say something. I'm counting on you guys.
I've been sitting here for 45 minutes.
I believe you.
In
and
total
you all just
silence.
stay quiet.
It's a long time to stare at somebody listening to nothing.
Low says you guys are brutal.
Anyways, my point was 3 seed is great. You ideally want to play Memphis. Minnesota's fine. I don't want to see the Clippers in the first round. A 3 seed gets you Houston in the second round. Incredibly favorable matchup. So in theory, you'd want Memphis, Houston, and then whoever you're going to face in the final, which will probably be OKC. The West is locked up for the Warriors. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling
here's another route that could happen that you might root for is if the Warriors finish 4 or 5 and they say they beat the Lakers, and then Minnesota gets the 8 seed and knocks off OKC.
Why are you hiding behind your name?
Oh. Let me move over here.
It was a good question, Dan. It was a good question. I mean, you were kind of ducking there.
Minnesota knocks off OKC, and then you get the home court advantage in that next round again because you're going to play the 1-8 winner if you're the 4 in that 4 slot, and then you got home court advantage there too. So that's another option.
Larry, what do you want? What's your ideal first round matchup in seeding?
As long as the Niners are at home, I feel
that's all that matters.
No.
And the A's are playing in Sacramento, right? I mean, we got to make sure that happens.
Seriously, it's a professional yard.
How is that going to work, by the way, in August? Like they don't schedule day games in July and August, do they? Because I think
I'm going up for Giants A's 4th of July weekend, July 4th, 5th, and 6th. They play 7-10 starts in Sacramento.
Okay, 7-10. Okay, that's
Yeah,
still going to be
7-10.
hot as F.
It's gonna be hot.
Dude. That's
It's gonna be hot. But I mean, I like hot weather. And you know what? I like hot nights in the summertime. I mean, it's not Houston. It's Sacramento. I mean, as long as the bugs are not crazy.
bugs.
Sacramento
Oh my
at nighttime is
God.
nice. What?
That's ghetto, dude. That is. Can I say something real fast about baseball before we go back? Like the Giants do not get enough shit for being such assholes when it comes to the territorial rights. The A's altruistically give them the territorial rights for San Jose so the Giants can stay. When they need the favor returned, the Giants give them the Like that is so messed up, dude. And I don't feel like people bring that up enough. That's it. I'm done. Okay. So anyway, Larry, what is your ideal opponent though? We haven't heard that, I don't think.
My ideal opponent would be like Utah. If they could somehow get Utah in the first round, because I think the Jazz are probably pretty bad.
All right.
That would be my first choice. But I don't.
Do you guys want to hear from
mathematically-
Draymond Green?
I don't think mathematically it's all right. I would say I would love to see the Warriors get the 3 seed and just avoid Minnesota in the first round. Like I'd love to get the 3 seed, but I don't want Minnesota in the first round. I'd rather if I could move Minnesota out of the 6, I'd love the 3.
So Minnesota scares you too, huh? This is like a consensus.
Well, they're talented and they've got, I think they've underachieved in the regular season. I think there's more there in the playoffs.
That's fair.
They've been like hot also. I mean, when you consider how good the Warriors have been with Butler and the fact that these teams are not going away, like the T-Wolves and the Clippers are both still like right on their tail. Like these teams have been hot down the stretch as well.
The reason why Minnesota doesn't scare me as much as you guys is their depth. They don't have it. Like first of all, Mike Conley does not scare me. Dante DiVincenzo is not consistent enough to scare me. Anthony Edwards scares the shit out of me. Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, no. Naz Reid scares me a little bit. So basically, you look at the Timberwolves roster, and it's what? It's Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, kind of, Naz Reid. Am I forgetting anyone?
It's just they're just really big. They're really big.
That's the one thing
and the guys that you're talking about have ownage on Golden State. Naz Reid
Not this year. Not this year.
I know, but Naz Reid has every time I watch that guy against
right.
Golden State, I'm like, this
That's
guy's just raining threes. He's like
That's
the greatest big man perimeter player of all time against the Warriors.
Yeah, him and Austin Reeves kill the Warrior killers.
Austin Reeves. Let's hear from Draymond Green. He was asked after the game what happened in the second and fourth quarters. This is currently of your current home, Larry, KNBR. Side note, I was giving your morning show host Brian Murphy some shit on Twitter tonight because in the middle of a Warriors game that's heated, he's blasting tweets going, "Isn't baseball great?" I'm like, dude, are you aware that there's a Warriors game? He didn't like that, by the way, but I don't care. Here is Draymond Green talking about what was the difference to start the second and fourth quarters.
That group that began the second quarter and the fourth quarter, what do you like about that group? Non-Steph minutes. I mean, you guys did a really good job with that unit.
Jimmy Butler got another one in that group. And that group has struggled at times because we just, no one out there. We got a one now. So, I think that group plays a little different style than the first group or the groups with Steph. And so I think it's a tough adjustment to kind of go from the style we play. You'll have to overly prepare for Steph. But yeah, we just added Jimmy Butler to that group and he changes everything.
You guys didn't say anything again. You guys are assholes, for the record, all three of you. I was muted there, and you guys didn't say anything. So Jimmy Butler tonight, incredible. He was, besides the 19 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, he had 5 steals in this game and easily led the team in net rating with a plus 21. Second highest was Draymond Green with a plus 14, and then Brandon Pajemski with a plus 11. The Jimmy Butler experience has been nothing but beautiful. Steph and Jimmy together are now 19-2. The starting lineup we saw tonight, which obviously includes Jimmy Butler, is undefeated, 14-0. Larry, your thoughts?
Well, he provides a great example of how to play the game. And I think he's had a huge impact on Pajemski and a huge impact on some of the other guys in that he plays with a very controlled, unemotional pace. He's not reckless. He doesn't make crazy plays. He doesn't get harassed and harangued by defenders. You know what I mean? He's like unflappable. He's kind of reminds me a lot of Iguodala in a lot of ways, but he knows, and first of all, he's the opposite of Jordan Poole, who had a terrible reputation and relationship with the refs. He's got a great reputation and relationship with the refs, and he gets great calls all the time. So that's one. So it's a parade of trips to the line for Jimmy all the time. He knows how to draw fouls. But more than anything, I think his real advantage is he's got a complete game. He doesn't try to play too fast, and he just lets the game come to him. He makes the simple basketball play. And I've seen the Warriors as a team make more of the simple basketball play. Guys who are not known for that. Buddy Hield, not known for that. Guy Santos is a young player. He's not known for that. And yet some of these guys have played, and even Kuminga, but definitely Pajemski, they're playing more under control, a little bit slower, a little bit more cerebral, a little bit more simple. Like he's like such a simple player in that he just makes the play that's there for him to make. He doesn't try to get crazy. And I think these guys are copying him. And I think his efficiency has filled in on the margins for Golden State. So he's solidified their scoring. So it's not these peaks and valleys. It's more like this because he can get you he can get to the line. He's a really valuable player for this team. He really was the perfect piece at the perfect time for Dunleavy. Great move.
And tonight, we saw him. We don't see him normally talking to the refs, like you said. He doesn't complain much. He was speaking up. There was a moment in the game where he told the refs, you could almost lip read that he's like, I got fouled twice there, and you guys didn't blow the whistle. He ended up with 6 free throw attempts, made all 6 of them. Dan, Coach Emilio, what has been your impression of Jimmy Butler since his arrival to the Golden State Warriors?
Love him. But first of all, I got to take cover here because Giovanni's after me in the chat. Let me hide behind my name a little
Giovanni,
bit.
What did he say?
Stop hiding behind your. You've always
I gotta hide behind my name, man. I got
hidden behind your name your whole life.
I know.
It's time for you to stop. It's
step out
from behind your name and let yourself be seen.
There we go. Oh my God, that is funny.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh gosh. No, I love Jimmy's move. I first, when they talked about getting Jimmy, I think a lot of us were saying no because of what was going on in Miami. It was like, no, we don't need that drama. And he's been, Happy Jimmy is looks like NBA Finals Jimmy. Happy Jimmy.
He does, man. He does. What about you,
Jimmy's
Ryan?
Happy. He goes to the finals, right? And he carried a Miami team and now he's not even the top dog on this team. It's Steph.
By the way, Miguel R. real fast, being a hater, saying that Draymond Green was guarding Jokic and Jokic still got 34 points. He's making the argument that because Nikola Jokic put up a 33 side note. Get your goddamn facts straight, you son of a bitch. 33 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists for Jokic. And so Draymond Green being criticized. Ryan, is that fair? And what are your thoughts about Jimmy Butler?
No, it's not. Honestly, Butler makes me I kind of feel. It makes me feel like I don't know ball. The fact that I was so wrong on this Butler move. I just immediately
don't question yourself, dude. Don't question yourself.
I was like, I went to the Warriors have no shooting. They have no spacing already. So now we're going to bring in a guy that can't shoot. And it's I couldn't be more wrong. And I'm so happy that I'm wrong because it's I thought, okay, I could see bringing in KD. That makes sense. I can see the geometry in my head. But it's obviously 10 times out of 10, I'd rather have Butler now. He just fills in the cracks everywhere. He's just a calming presence. He does everything well. And he's just one of these guys where it seems like analytics, you just can't really, Like they just don't really work with a guy like Butler. I mean, he's been run out of town so many places and been kind of disrespected so many places. And every time he leaves town, he goes and he brings he completely re-energizes, reinvigorates the team he goes to. And then he leaves and those teams kind of don't ever get back to those same heights.
Yep.
So he's just like,
they're all regretful. Like after the fact, right?
So,
like,
I mean, look at Philly. Yeah, it's crazy in a lot of ways. Like he is like the perfect kind of like Warriors player. Like he just fits in so well, like high IQ. I think the Iguodala call is great. I wanted to throw something back to you guys. The way you started this was talking about the starting lineup. It's a small starting lineup. They're undefeated. Is this the starting lineup?
14-0. Yeah.
Is this the starting lineup?
Oh, it has to be. It has to be.
Broke. Don't fix it.
Does this mean if they run this starting lineup out there, they go 16-0 in the playoffs?
No, but they could win a championship. I think they can win a championship. And like the end of the game is the last two nights, I feel like, where we saw these 5-man. Unfortunately, Moody's been the victim of these closing lineups, but it's been like Steph, Dre, Jimmy Butler, Pajemski, and Kuminga. And to me, that fivesome, and if you got to swap somebody out to get Moody in, so be it. But it's tough to. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This whole thing is freaking beautiful, man. I'm elated. Larry, you're not. How are you doing, brother? You doing okay over there? You still awake?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just seeing if I could freeze, but I can't freeze for that long, you know.
Well, you pulled the Draymond Green, right? It was like 10 years ago. Remember when he just kind of disassociated? Just looking ahead for like 20 seconds.
I'm gonna go to an A's game with Bob Myers. I'll be over here. Now, I mean, you know, they're right now they're looking good. But I think Golden State has to, you know, they've got to do it the right way, which is they've got to be efficient. They can't get into some knockdown, drag out 7-game first round ugly series, all kinds of injuries and emotion. They gotta quickly dispatch of their early round opponent. They need the perfect, you know, Steve Kerr is going to be big here because it's like this is a horse race, right? And are they the best horse? No. Are they the most experienced horse? Yeah. Do they have the most experience on this track and everything? Yep. And do they have the most experienced jockey? Yep. So they're going to need to have a good trip, have a smart, good trip through the playoffs in horse racing lingo to be there at the wire. That's really it. I mean, they got a shot. There's been we've seen years where they are the overwhelming, you know, 1-10 favorite, and man, they should win. And if they don't win, there's going to be like an investigation. We're not there, right? We're at a different era, but kind of makes it exciting. They do have a shot. And if they get a golden trip and they don't pull up with any kind of an injury to their key guys, they got a shot. And at this point, that's all I really wanted. Just get me into this playoff picture, get us all into this playoff race where, you know, we can really enjoy. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been doing this YouTube channel for a few years now. Some of the most enjoyable times have been the Warrior shows that we did in the playoff run, the championship run against the Celtics. Those were some of the best things that we did, because basketball is an awesome sport to talk about in the playoffs. And we got lots of passionate voices on these shows. All of us, Red, Carl Foster, others, Danny's brother.
Red, by the way, didn't make it tonight because he went to a movie. So just in case people were wondering.
Yeah. By the way, he saw that Jason Statham movie, inspired me to go see it. Holy, what a piece of dog shit. Just a terrible movie. I love The Beekeeper. I love a lot of Statham movies. This was like, my eyes were bleeding. Like it was seriously that bad.
Bad.
Brutal.
That's so funny.
Hey, I love those old streams. It's that Monster Slam that got me signed to a contract.
Well, let's do that regularly this postseason. I'm down if you guys are, because I'm feeling something special.
But I mean, that's
here.
great, because there's, you know, let's be honest about this. This is regular season. When the money's on the table, everything gets dialed up, and it makes these shows more combative.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, all of a sudden we're going at each other a little bit because the whole thing matters more. So it's to me, it's great stuff. It's the closest that we get to like kind of the football stuff.
Drunk Larry's a kinder Larry, though.
Yeah, well, you know,
these
I can explode at any moment.
One thing that's also going to be great is like, I think every single, even if there is a world where the Warriors could win the championship. Every single series along the way will be a war. Like I don't think there's going to be a single matchup where they're going to like even like win kind of comfortably in 6 games. I think every single one of these will be a hard fought 6 game or a 7 game. Also, there's no way that even if I don't care what team it is, even if it's Boston, OKC, whatever, like in the Steph era, they've never lost. I believe this is correct. I don't think they've ever lost a series in less than 6 games. So like they go the distance. Like, yeah.
They don't get flushed.
Fun.
Oh, wait, hold on. What was that stat again? In the Steph era, they've never played a game 7. Is that what you're saying?
In the Kerr era, they've never lost.
I'm saying I don't think they've ever lost before getting to
4 or 5.
Yeah, they've never lost in 4 or 5. So they've never
they've never gotten their asses kicked. Is what you're trying to say. Yeah. You're right. Look, and this leads to, first of all, let me get to the paid chats, and we're going to go to the final topic of the night, and that is Wardell Stephen Curry, who prevents those ass kickings. That's what great players do. Real fast here, Julian Bashir, $2, saying let's block some of those Kuminga hating trolls. I think Stephen Curry did a good job with that. When he speaks up, people get in line. Miguel R, $1.99, saying send Buddy Hield far away from the playoffs. Horrible. Do any of you on the panel tonight make any sense of the Buddy Hield minutes other than Stephen Curry likes him? I have no other rhyme or reason for Buddy Hield getting the minutes he does. Anybody?
Only when he's only effective when he's hot.
I mean, you need, I guess, he's just a guy, you have to guard him. It's kind of hilarious. If you scroll back through like the Warriors, like the games, it usually shows you like the high scorer. If you go to the beginning of the season, I think Buddy Hield was the high scorer on the team 4 out of the first 5 games of the season.
Yeah, correct. That's correct. And I think that the record still stands. What's
Damien.
up?
Just looking at the comment, Damien.
Well, I guess when the Warriors, I think, only have 1 loss this entire season when Buddy scores 18 or more, for good reason. Wayne Sturr dropping $10, saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Warriors Invitational. Yes, sir. Stephen Curry, unbelievable. Brandon Pajemski on the right path as the new Splash brother. I know Pajemski has been playing some great basketball, man. Just all positive. Talking about Draymond, Jimmy Butler.
I gotta hand it to you. That's a nice looking font that you got there.
Oh, thank you, sir. That is a Merriweather, in case you ever wanted to use that. I like that font too. Bay Area Chris, $1.99, saying living in Colorado.
How many font choices do you have there?
How many what?
How many font options did you have?
Like 20?
Really?
You have that too. I think we use the same virtual studio. So yeah, I had fun with that. So the Nuggets.
That's it. I'm switching my font. That's it.
Breaking news. I don't know what
everybody know. I might tweet it out. I'm switching font on my
you are the king of
application. Thank you.
You are the king. So even little things deserve.
Tune in tomorrow as I may debut new font.
What is Barry and Chris here trying to say? Living in Colorado broadcast is talking Nuggets play-in.
He's saying,
are they trying to say that
Colorado? They're talking about the Nuggets in the play-in tournament,
like possibly dropping.
Right.
That's crazy. It is real. It's a real possibility. 2 games separate 3 through 8. I've never seen anything like that in the NBA. Miguel R dropping $1.99, saying let the Australian kid, who one of the 3 two-way players for the Warriors, get all the Hield minutes. And I forgot the guy.
They signed him a couple weeks ago. What's his name?
Correct. And I'm brain farting on the name. But the Warriors did actually activate another player, and he got his first minutes tonight. And his name is Braxton Key. I don't know if you folks have seen the tape on him and in terms of what he's done for Santa Cruz and throughout his young career. That kid has potential. Like, it might not be this year that we see him, but if he's around next season, Braxton Key.
He's definitely the key to the Warriors' future.
Well, let me just say this: the Australian kid.
Wait, hold on. That deserves.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Yeah,
the Australian kid. I spent a lot of time watching, and that guy can absolutely pass the rock.
Taron Armstrong, right?
Yeah, he absolutely can pass. So that guy's going to be fun to watch because, passing generally is one of the more advanced traits if you're a basketball player. The best players are generally guys who can pass. So to see the way this guy was passing the ball was like, whoa. I mean, it makes me eager to see how well-rounded the rest of his game is because he can really he really knows how to set people up. I mean, he's a pretty decent-sized player, but he can really pass it. You'll see when you see him.
Since we're talking about some of these fringe guys,
Yeah.
is Mike Dunleavy got a chance for whatever they give the award to
Executive of the Year?
Hell no.
He should, but why do you say hell no, Ryan? Who's going to win it?
Rob Pelinka.
Really? You think so?
I mean, I feel like he should. He got Luka Doncic.
Yeah, but Quentin
Butler?
Post in the second round and Jimmy Butler, those are two key acquisitions. And he was able to, he signed all those guys and then he was able to move some of those guys for, look at what he did.
First of all,
with,
it has to go to Dunleavy. Dunleavy, just for the ability to find somebody to take Schroeder. Probably should win the award just on that alone.
I think it was harder to find someone for Wiggins, honestly, but yeah, Schroeder was one too. A couple more pay chats here. Claw Daddy Arcade, still your sponsor, Larry?
Yes,
always your sponsor. Always your sponsor.
Love Claw
Daddy Arcade. Saying, does anyone check up on our buddy from a couple streams ago with the canned champagne? I don't understand what this means, Larry.
We had a guy who had called in, was talking about champagne in a can.
That's right.
We never checked up on.
We never did. You're right. That was a week ago. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Have you ever heard of that, Dan or Ryan?
Not in a can. No.
I mean, I can picture it. It's like
Can you imagine all these guys in the clubhouse after winning a championship, opening up cans.
I mean, it's carbonated. It's not the concept. I kind of buy it, but brutal hangovers. That's why I don't touch champagne. The hangovers are so mean.
Have you ever had good champagne?
I guess not, because
Seriously,
I'm guessing you're going to tell me the hangovers are.
Go get a $300 bottle of Cristal.
All right.
And then come back and tell me that champagne's terrible. It's actually great.
Fair.
If you get Corbel at Safeway, sorry.
Yeah, I've never had Cristal.
Doing it
Come on, when's the last time you've been to Safeway? You're always at Lenardi's.
If you can go Cristal, little Cristal.
Larry doesn't step foot into Safeway. He only goes into
what are
Lenardi's.
groceries?
Dan seems like the kind of guy who would mix Courvoisier and Coke.
Wait,
I'll have some CC. What's CC, sir? Courvoisier and Coke.
Waynster, $5 saying the key for the Dubs is to work their asses off next week, then get that 1 week off. We talked about that. 20, I think it's 19-2 with Steph and Butler playing together. That is crazy. Ryan _23000 writing, Buddy Hield is out there for the threat, not the talent. Yeah, I think that's fair.
He doesn't offend me like he offends you, because the bottom line is there's very few guys in an NBA floor that can get 20, and he can. And so that's the reason they give him such license, and I think that's really it more than anything. And I think there may be a game in the playoffs where he does go on a scoring binge
at home.
There aren't that many guys who can do it. He can, so you just keep going with it. You ride the good with the bad. They're going to part ways with him in the offseason, but right now, he's here and he's not going anywhere, and they're going to, you can tell Steph looks a little exasperated by Buddy Hield at times.
Well, tonight it was obvious. It was evident. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Does Buddy Hield, not personality-wise, they're very different, but from a performance, from a skill set perspective, does he ring any similarities to you? Remember Nick Young when he was on the team? Like
Swaggy? He's got way more than Swaggy P.
Because people forget that. He was actually on a championship team for the Warriors, and he was kind of the similar type of player where it was an inconsistent three, but the threat was there, and he could kind of handle the ball, and he wasn't small enough to be a detriment.
He shot 40% from three. But Swaggy P, shoots 40% at in and out. I mean, he's a Swaggy P's never done anything compared to Buddy Hield, right? I mean,
Who's
you're
the
joking.
guy on the Cavs that was it Swaggy P that didn't know the timeout?
J.R.
Or no, that
Smith.
was
No,
That was
J.R. Smith. That was
Yeah,
J.R.
J.R.
Smith. That's
But
right.
Swaggy P's has always been kind of a inefficient player who was not. I mean, I almost felt like he makes you want to laugh when you see him. I mean, it's like the way he plays the game. It's like he's a comic.
Buddy gives some of those vibes off at times though, where he looks comical. Like,
By the way,
he does.
He does. He almost
He's a
blocked
huge
Steph.
talent compared to
Steph had that
Swaggy.
crazy 3 where like Buddy Hield was essentially guarding him tonight.
I
By
remember.
the way, does it? This is a little bit of a sidebar, but like, does
Yeah.
it annoy you guys? At least it really annoys me, especially like it was I was like in college at the time, and like I just hated LeBron so much. But like the whole J.R. Smith game, like all anyone ever remembers is like the idea in everyone's mind is that J.R. Smith did something so stupid that like he cost LeBron that win.
It was just game one. Yeah,
It was just
game
well,
one.
it was also there was a whole nother overtime period that happened.
Right.
And it's
Yeah,
like
but the
people
meme-
just
the meme
ignore
was
that.
like, right?
It was an
LeBron,
opportunity.
And
to
LeBron
win.
like completely like big dogged him and like completely like gave up in overtime. And like I don't think he
LeBron's
scored
a
a
big
single
dude.
point in overtime, even though that was one of the most incredible. The first 4 quarters was one of the most incredible LeBron games I've ever seen. But he totally gave up in overtime.
J.R. Smith probably had to have smoked a J in the pregame.
Easily.
He had to be just mentally out right there, right? Because
Massive stoner.
There was no guarantee, even if he called timeout, that the Caps score. There was
Yeah,
only
exactly.
like one or 2 seconds left at the most.
J.R.
Right.
Smith, by the way, interestingly enough, after he retired, goes back to college and then joins the college golf team.
Nasty at golf.
And he's really good at it. Yeah, he is nasty. You're right. And he gets like a
Awesome.
4.0 GPA. Like it's kind of fascinating where his path went after the NBA. Wouldn't surprise me if you found him in the college dorms with like 3 girls surrounding him. He must have been living, dude. Good for him. Tommy Huxley, $2, our last paid chat of the night, saying Luka Doncic bricks still a turnstile last night. I think you're trying to say that Luka Doncic was a turnstile defensively last night. Agreed. Yes.
I think Larry had a show today where he challenged everybody. If he got 50 super chats, that he would chug another beer. I think Larry's we can push him over the top tonight. Can we get 10 more super
Can we
chats?
see Larry pass out live during his show?
Can we get like 10 big super
We
chats?
get 10 huge super chats. I'll down this entire thing of vodka in one sip. In one sip. I mean, I won't even.
Oh,
I don't. That's a lot of vodka.
And
That is a
Larry
lot
will
of
be just like he'll pass out and they'll drag him off to bed.
at
We'll
that.
see it
a
all
lot of
live
vodka.
right here.
Raymond M saying that my mind always goes to the gutter. One person's gutter is another person's paradise, my friend. So save the judgment, sir. And Digital Drew, define huge. 3 inches is huge, right? Anyways, we go back to the show. Stephen Curry had 125 points through 3 games. 125 points through 3 games. What is that an average of? Is that he's averaging over 40 points a game, right?
That's over 40.
41.8 or something. What is that?
Incredible. Tonight, 36 points, 7 of 15 from beyond the arc, 13 of 24 from the field total, 3 free throw attempts, makes all 3 of them, of course, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. And this is coming off last night where he lit up LA. Side note, I never heard back from anyone in terms of whether or not that was the best game of Steph's career playing at the Lakers, because he normally struggles there. And last night he was on fire. This is absurd what we're seeing. This is what GOATs do. Stephen Curry is one of the greatest ever. And it's why I'm always a little surprised when I make these kinds of predictions, right? Like in 2022, for example, actually summer of 2021, I boldly, apparently, I didn't think it was bold, but it was a bold prediction that they were going to win the championship. And for me, I look at Steph and I don't think it's that hard of a thing to do. He's one of the greatest ever. 37 years of age was a bit concerning for me. what I saw tonight was enough for me to believe he has another run in him. Larry, I know you've had concerns about the age. Steph, your thoughts, sir?
Well, I mean, all I would say is, try to get through this thing as quickly as possible. Try not to expose him to any needless injuries. He's obviously has tons of pain if he lands on his butt. I mean, it's like the way he landed yesterday and the reaction was like, what is going on? I mean, he obviously is in excruciating pain if his tailbone in any way hits the floor. So, rest him up as much as possible. He's your meal ticket. Him and Jimmy and Draymond are old, and you're trying to get to the finish line. The big question, I think maybe the bigger question, was could they get from, Halloween to April? But now we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in April. But Steph looks a little gassed, and they look a little tired. And so I think it's, once again, they're gonna need the golden trip. They're gonna need to somehow keep momentum, try to get a good seed, but not burn out their guys, not expend too much energy, get into the playoffs, get that those extra rest days, and just manage themselves very smartly through this thing. It's doable, and I think they can do it. I mean, Kerr's a bench jockey that's done it. And all these players have won rings, so they can do it. I mean, it's just a matter. And Jimmy, I'm really eager to see Jimmy elevate because he's never won a ring. So I would imagine he's going to elevate in the playoffs, and they're going to need that elevation from him. So I'm banking on Jimmy really rising up in the playoffs, and I'm banking on Kerr giving them the golden trip, and they got a shot. And the closer we get to the finish line with them being healthy, the better their shot is. But it's very precarious because they are older, and they don't, suddenly, like out of nowhere, they'll look kind of old and tired and kind of and this is the end of a long run. So, just they're going to need a great trip.
And what's crazy is you said they look tired. If this is tired, where Steph in 3 games and 4 nights against Memphis, LA, Denver, dropping 125 points, if this is tired, a rested Steph is going to carry this team to glory. Dan, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I think Steph, to me, is showing his greatness, and this probably is biased because I can't stand LeBron, so there may be a little bias in this, but if he gets his 5th chip, I put him ahead of LeBron. On the all-time whatever ranking board you got. I'm tempted to put him up there now because they're equal, both with 4, and Steph really has them 3-1 and probably should be 4-0 without that game 5 crap of the referees and all that stuff in 16. But I just think Steph shows up. He's a guy that, I was thinking about this with LeBron and Steph. A lot of negativity about LeBron all over social media, Stephen A., different people, different sources. Everybody rips on LeBron. Have you ever heard one person, not talking about Steph's game, his character, say anything negative about Steph ever?
Nope.
Yeah. That settles it for me. Who I would take on a team or just building a team. I got many guys over LeBron.
Ryan, the NBA finals start on June 5th. I expect Stephen Curry to be there. What do you think?
I mean, it's the NBA. It's a league about these like apex predator superstars. And I still think, I think other than Jokic, I still think Steph is the biggest one out there. I really think that. I mean, you look at really the league's in a little bit of a weird transition period where
it is,
because these guys are still holding on. You look at the best teams in the league and it's like, it's the Celtics and their best player is Jason Tatum, who's he's a great player, but I don't know, he's like maybe the 5th or 6th best player in the league. And even that, I think if you went back a couple of years, I don't think he's in that top 5. You got the Cavs who are dominant, but it's like they've got Donovan Mitchell, and Mobley is a great defensive player, but he's not like a number one all-time player. SGA looks great this year. We just have to see it. We have to see it in the playoffs. We have to see the battle scars. We have to see him dominate in the finals. So nobody's really there, especially if you look in the West. Yeah, you have LeBron, Luka's great, but I still think Steph is that guy. So they have a shot. I will say he's not going to win MVP this year. Definitely not. I really hope that this final push at least gets him a first team All-NBA, because I don't know how many times he's been robbed of first team All-NBA in his career.
Good point.
Donovan Mitchell has been kind of inked in this whole year because the Cavs have been so great, and Mitchell was really great, but he's fallen off a little bit.
Yes.
Curry deserves this first team All-NBA. I actually don't even remember the last time he was first team All-NBA.
Probably
It's been a
2022.
Maybe
or 3. Somewhere
it might
there.
have not even been 2022. And if you remember, like after, people got so sick once KD came, it was like all of a sudden Steph's out of all awards. Like once KD's on the team. So it was like all of a sudden it was like Russ is getting first team All-NBA over him, and Harden. And then there's always a new flashy guard that they put ahead of him. Whether I think maybe even Ja Morant was one year. That he deserves first team All-NBA this year.
He got it in 15, 16, 19, and 21.
Wow.
Think about how little that is, though, for the guy who every single year everybody would say that is the best guard in the league. And that's supposed to be a snapshot of being like, those are the 5 best players in the league that year. And it's just, there's always a new flashy guard that's scoring a bunch of points, and he never gets that respect. So he really deserves that this year. He also has a chance out of nowhere actually to lead the league in 3-pointers again this year.
And with Anthony Edwards is the competition, right?
It's Edwards and Malik Beasley. Actually, Malik Beasley's in first right now. It's kind of crazy with the way the 3-point has taken off so much. Malik Beasley and Anthony Edwards are both top 10 all time in the history of the NBA in most 3-pointers made in a season right now with their numbers. And
Malik Beasley. Jeez,
yes.
Okay.
298. And I know. Curry has like 13 games less played or something like that, and he's only 5 behind. So I think he can get there. But
that's crazy. So you're right. So and Dan, great call on that. So the last time Steph made the first team was following the 2021 season, where I still maintain Nikola Jokic stole that MVP from him. Since then, in 2021, 2022, Devin Booker and Luka Doncic were first team All-NBA guards. Next year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic. Next year, guards. They removed positions at that point. So basically, it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic that took first team. So that's who has been in the way of Steph. And I'm with you. I think this year he should get it. Larry, what do you think, man? And we got another super chat from Digital Drew dropping $2 because he wants you to drink.
Well, don't forget that 9 cents. Don't forget the 9 cents in there. That should be enough to.
And the 9 cents, which is super random. You're right. Happy Friday, everybody, by the way.
How do you do a super chat for 209? What is that? Is there a meaning behind that? 209?
I don't know. I have no clue, but we're watching Larry pound a glass of vodka. Bravo. Was there a tonic in that, or was it just pure straight? Like,
I don't know.
EK, who side note, thank you for the positive words.
What I do for the audience.
They want drunk Larry. They want Larry hammered drunk.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's not a pretty sight.
Damian LaRoche, another $1.99.
This is my moneymaker, but it's not a pretty sight. Was it? There you go. Stripper
there we go.
music?
Now we got the tunes.
Oh my gosh.
Good stuff.
$1.99.
So tomorrow the Warriors have a day off, which is well deserved for them, I think. When we look at the schedule here, because I'm curious to know upcoming, what teams are playing when in turn that actually impacts the Warriors. So for Saturday, April 5th, the meaningful games are Memphis at Detroit.
Ooh,
That's going to be a good one.
That's good. Detroit's
Minnesota at Philly. Minnesota's going to win that one. Pretty easy.
By the way, Detroit's lost a couple in a row, so they'll be hungry because they're fighting for Milwaukee for that 4th spot.
And then Dallas at the Clippers, and we're all rooting for Dallas in that one. And then the Warriors are back at it Sunday. It's going to be a jam-packed slate. They host the Houston Rockets. I did not hear one person predict the Warriors were going to go 4-0 through what was the most difficult stretch of games in the NBA this season by any team. And the Warriors might pull that off, which is insane. But besides that Rockets game, some other games of note that are important. Like you said, Dan, early in the show, the Lakers play OKC twice. Larry commends you for that great information. I remember that. That's the first of the two games. The Lakers are at OKC. Any other important games? And no, that's it. So your thoughts on the weekend of action. Larry, I'll start with you as we start to wrap it up.
Well, I've always said a weekend is great when there's action.
Larry, I want to see you drink more, man. I do. I don't think we've ever gone drunk ever.
I mean, it's a simplistic statement. I mean, from a very simplistic person.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Dan, any final thoughts from you, sir?
Thank you. I'll be here all week. By the way, I'll be here all week.
I just looking at the Warriors schedule. They got 5 remaining. Houston, then they go to Phoenix, come back the next night, play San Antonio at home, then go to Portland, then finish up a week from Sunday at home against the Clippers. Can they run the table?
There's going to be chicanery at the end of the season also. They're going to do that thing where they schedule all the games so you can't be losing on purpose, but there will be chicanery.
Where is the Clipper game? Is it in the Intuit Dome? Because I
Chase.
hear
It's
there's
Chase.
Oh, okay. Because did you guys hear about the Intuit Dome? There's retinal scans and
I've been 3 times this year.
You just walk
Fantastic.
in and grab your you want your red vines. You just grab your red vines. You just grab your beer. You don't hand anybody anything, right? Rye, isn't it just kind of?
Yeah, it was unreal. I went the first time I went a month into the season, and it was this is unbelievable. I'm in the future. I'll give you all my information. I don't even care. It was so convenient. Next 2 times I went, the system was down, and it was kind of a huge hassle.
Dan, you don't even have to get out of your seat. You just have to think, I want a beer, and then it comes to you. It's
So does that mean Steve Ballmer is the Antichrist, or what's going on here?
Steve Ballmer actually implanted chips in every Clipper.
You can just kind of think to yourself, I wouldn't mind some chips, and then chips arrive.
But Ryan, what are your thoughts? So in Intuit, it's all about the fan, right? That's what I've heard is that the fan experience is focused, but they also want the fans in their seats. There's no TVs when you go into the vendor areas. Is that correct?
Correct. And there's so the food is
You have a
interesting.
porta potty at your seat too.
They all the bathrooms are
Everybody gets a bro. I'm you that.
You can see the whole so that you could just literally not have to get up. You
get a catheter and the whole deal. It's an amazing
toilet/seat.
Yeah.
So the food is they have 5 very basic food categories, a hamburger and a hot dog and some chicken tenders and nachos and one other thing. And you just go up and it's all pre-made. And you just go up and you grab it, and it knows that you grabbed it, and you just walk out and bring it to your seat. The food kind of sucks. I mean, I would like maybe a little more variety. The food kind of sucks, but it is kind of nice. I mean, there's definitely a vibe in there, kind of almost it's a college situation. It's pretty cool, except
I'm waiting for the porn star to still come into this show because this music is really.
So when you say a college situation, are you talking about binge drinking and debauchery?
No, dude. I wish.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, the crowd is still pretty.
I guess
sad.
everybody's college situation's a little different.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, anytime someone in the chat brings up GTA, I'm all ear. That video game is so awesome. I can never get enough of it. I just replay the game over and over. It's that good. When is GTA 6 coming out, Ryan? Do you know?
Dude, it's supposed to come out this year, I think. It's been since GTA 5 was 2013.
If I was filthy rich, that's all I do. I just play GTA and I live the Klay Thompson life is what I do.
Mark Graves in the chat says there will be chicanery. Good name for a rock band.
Hey, you know how the CIA has all those masks for those double agents? What if you went in, if I got a mask, could I go in to to Intuit Arena and you have to pay for everything if I look like Ryan Smith?
If you had like Mission Impossible technology masks,
Yeah, if I went in there and it'd be
You
like,
should try it, Dan. You should try
Yeah,
it. It's
it's
worth
actually
it
not
for
bad.
a free soda.
yeah. $32,000 on facial reconstructive surgery for a soda.
So what's your overall judgment for Intuit? You like it?
It's excellent. It's super
It is,
easy.
okay.
Like the parking's super easy. It's super chill. I don't love like SoFi is still like a huge hassle, but Intuit's pretty badass. I gotta say.
Okay, I like it. Oh,
By the
Bill
way,
M is,
I'll be
like,
streaming on
insisting.
Monday with Damon, and I believe we bring up stadiums. All roads lead back to ripping up Levi's. It's like we cannot talk about a stadium without that guy ripping Levi's. It's like, dude, what did Levi's do to you? You think Levi's robbed him, picked his pocket?
It is. It's just kind of uninspiring.
okay.
It's not bad.
or
But it's
anything.
We had Candlestick for crying out loud.
anything
Baby
with
I
Yeah.
love Candlestick, man. There's a special place in my heart for that dump. I loved it. Nathan J. Shaw, happy birthday.
any chance he can get to rip on Levi's and John Fisher.
yeah, that's another one. Maybe I should set him off next Monday and be like, I heard John Fisher is going to Levi's. See if he just
Who, Damon?
yeah, he just explodes. He doesn't like John Fisher. He doesn't like Levi's.
Why not Levi's? What's the issue there?
I don't know. It's this whole like they never should have left San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
Who
fair.
Who gives a crap? At the end of the day, I'd much rather go Santa Clara. It's new, it's nice, it's clean. There's no raccoons running up the escalator. I mean, come on. Look what you had. Look what you have. And come on. It's world's better.
It doesn't like really inspire like the pride of like if there's some like sporting event or something taking place at like AT&T Park or whatever, Oracle Park or like Chase Center. It's kind of like, damn, look, San Francisco, pretty cool. We've got pretty cool stuff. Levi's is like, they're gonna have it in the World Cup, and it's like
The Super Bowl's here next year.
yeah.
The Super Bowl's here. The only thing that sucks about the Super Bowl being here is that this year it's in New Orleans and next year it's here. I mean, where's more fun to go party, in the French Quarter or downtown Sunnyvale?
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing everyone's going to get their hotels in the city, and then the day of the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
they'll
because
commute,
the
right?
city is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Orleans or Balboa Cafe. Sorry, I like.
Maybe they can just.
I'll
Maybe they
pick
can
New
take some-
Orleans. Vote for New Orleans.
Maybe they can make some of those boarded up buildings down there.
We're in San Francisco?
Yeah, and just
Are there
turn
still
them, turn
is
them
that
into
still a
rooms.
thing?
Turn them into rooms.
Oh, in the
Dude, I was
financial
just
district.
mentioning, I was taking my kid down to his new place in the city. We're driving down Union Street, which used to be like major, shops and everything. I'd say 65% of the shops are out of biz. They're
Wait, you mean the
vacant.
same Union Street where I used to own a surf shop?
Yeah, well, wait a second. No. Surf shop. Where was that? Was that in San Diego?
It was Union and Fillmore is where my shop was.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You're saying that area's dead?
That area now has 65% vacancies.
You want to know why, though? I mean, it's the owners of those buildings. Like, they would rather let those things sit there empty than bring the prices down. It's absurd. And they write off the losses. They're all corporations who own these things. It was one of the most disappointing experiences of owning a business in San Francisco and running a brick and mortar was realizing, in the process of finding a place, it made me realize commercial landlords are some of the scummiest people on the planet, man. It's disappointing. Like, the American dream would be beautiful if people had a place to actually run a business without having to break the bank just to pay the rent. Like, it sucks. I was very disappointed, but
Hey, look at Ringo. Is that Ringo?
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Ringo's in the house. Look at Ringo.
Hey,
Ringo's
buddy.
got a
Look at
big
his
hand.
scarf. He was at the beauty salon.
Look at Ringo. Ringo's dropped some LBs.
Oh, he has.
What's
he was a
going on?
chubby dog and now he's not?
Yeah,
He's still a little chubby.
this
he looks
dog-
good.
Put him on
this
some
dog
real
was at
food,
least
Brian?
15 pounds heavier.
How
Put him
old
on,
would you say he is? What does he look?
Ringo's
Yeah.
about 8.
Yeah,
Ringo's
he's
about
turning
8.
Old?
He turned
How old?
10.
You're
Yeah.
a good boy, Ringo. Good boy. Hey, buddy.
Bring Buster Boy in here. I look. Hey, did you take
Where's
him
he
to
at?
the
Where you
beauty
guys?
salon?
Faith?
Faith passed last
Faith
year.
passed.
Doggone it.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Faith passed.
Whoa, Dan, you lost your dogs?
I lost one. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Faith was
Buster?
was the golden.
with the red lab. Yeah,
Yeah.
the red. Buster's still doing well. In fact,
So
let me-
how's Buster
let me-
doing without Faith?
Yeah.
He's now that he's a solo dog, he gets more attention. Now. He's
Okay.
like, yeah, he goes with me everywhere I go. If I go somewhere and I don't have to go into a store, I just bring him along for the ride.
All right.
Yeah,
That sucks. I'm sorry, man.
How old's Buster?
he's gonna be 8 in May.
Oh.
May 5th.
Penny's 7.
No, really? I thought you just got her.
No, she's 7.
Damn.
You got her.
Yeah,
two
Yeah,
years
where-
ago.
No,
Dan,
we got
where's
her
the
when my daughter
completes?
was in high school, leaving for college.
Oh, the
and she's
completes,
grad
man.
student.
Hey, we graduated from completes, man. I'm getting paid so much money on YouTube, I can afford real food.
Look at that, Danny's.
I thought
just
don't you own
blowing
like a
up.
financial consulting business, or are you? just
Yeah,
doing-
I'm
Okay,
a
okay,
financial
all right.
advisor. Yeah.
I was like, wait, are you a full-time YouTuber now? That's
No,
good for
no,
you.
no. I'm no.
More
He
power
goes
to
by
you if you're
Mr.
pulling that
he
off.
goes by
Bravo.
Mr. Beastly. Right
Yeah.
there you go.
Mr. B. That guy's a billionaire, dude. It's insane, man.
Anthony wants to know what happened to Bo. Bo is a good dog, but he had to return him back to the breeder. He was a little too much for our household. Tried a second dog, and he was a pup.
I'm sure
And he was
Bo. I'm sure Bo didn't mind that rejection from you. And
I know. I'm sure
Yeah.
Bo was.
He was eating
I'm sure he's got
everything in
over
the
that
house,
rejection.
which was I could deal with. But when it came to Bo eating his own shit, it was a little bit too much.
You draw the line there.
Well,
'Cause
when
you've always
when he
been okay
threw
with that in
up,
the past.
when he threw up in the house,
Oh,
and it was, and I found dog shit in his
Oh.
throw up.
Oh.
That was,
Oh my God.
and
Oh, come
that
on,
was a little
man.
too much. That was
Oh.
Come on, man.
Not
All
to
right,
mention
I think we need to bring.
Get that dog a breath mint. Oh God. Oh my God. So I think this show's over. I mean,
I think it's over. That's a yeah. On that note,
come on, we're talking about eating dog crap, and
Yeah.
come on.
too
happy
much. Says,
birthday to
There's
Nation.
two things that
Nation
tell you a
Gish.
show's over. When Dan starts talking about dog crap eating and Chardol shows up. When those two things happen, the show is done. All right?
Okay, we're done. Before we go, props again to the Golden State Warriors. Huge win. For Golden Days, we're back Sunday. Larry, before we go, mention your sponsors, by the way, because I don't think we got a chance to do that, and my apologies for not bringing that up.
I mean, it's incredibly mean-spirited of you.
That was my bad.
I'm brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Sharp Corner, sports cards and collectibles. Mancini's Sleep World, Learn Key, Upskill Academy, and Clawdaddy Arcades. Clawdaddy Arcades.
Chardol, you got 30 seconds. Go for it, quick.
Hey, Cy, it's great coming on the show. Great win for the Warriors. Took down Denver 118-104. Steph Curry and Pajemski combined for 62 points. That was amazing. Steph Curry and Pods are one of the greatest duos on the basketball court. Well, what were your thoughts on the win, Cy?
It was bad. It was a bad night. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep all night. It was a horrible game.
Call them at home.
I'm just kidding. Chardol, it was fantastic. Chardol, the Warriors are winning the championship this year. Are you pumped?
I'm pumped. They're gonna win the championship.
Yes, sir. Steph's getting number 5.
Steph's gonna get number 5.
Bold prediction or not? I don't know. Thanks, everybody.
Uh,
Love you all.
So make sure to subscribe to Larry
Show?
Kruger's. Make sure to subscribe to Krug Show.
Thank you.
NorCal Sports Report.
No, network.
What?
Network.
Make sure
Sports
to
Network.
make sure to subscribe to the Krug Show.
More importantly-
NorCal Sports Network. West Coast Smitty, Golden Days. Subscribe to all of these gentlemen's YouTube channels. They all make some really great content. Cy, I'm a big fan of you too. I called in last night. That was a really great call last night when the Lakers played.
Okay, time. Shardal, 30 seconds is up. Shardal, I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry to cut you short, brother. We got to go. Have a great night, everybody. Larry,
Check
I
out.
love you,
Wait,
brother.
you got to see
You are
Buster
the
here.
king
Hold
of
on.
Various sports media.
We see
That is
Buster.
a beautiful dog, sir. That is
Watch
a
this.
beautiful.
Watch
puppy.
this treat.
Wait
Watch
a second.
this.
Watch
Watch
this.
this.
This is
All
an
right,
amazing
Buster.
thing. This is
All
a
right.
dog eating a treat.
Go ahead. Leave
Look
it.
at the discipline. Look at the
Definitely
discipline.
not feces.
Look at wait. Look, you gotta get closer in her eyes because she's beautiful and she's looking at you, Danny.
That's
Look,
Okay,
beautiful.
she's
go ahead and take
she's
it,
not-
Buster.
Oh, look at you. Look at
All
that.
right. This is what he's getting. He's getting from.
So much.
Oh wait.
Wait, can you make him howl still?
Are those
8 and
completes?
1. No, 8 and 1 multi-benefit. This is from Costco. Little vitamins and stuff. But one more here. Here we go, Buster.
Don't give him
All
too
right,
many.
sit.
Yeah.
Sit. Lay down. Leave it.
Oh.
Leave it.
Oh.
Oh wait, can we get a close up on the face so we can see? Look at that. That's awesome. That is
Oh.
awesome. Okay, say go. Go ahead, Buster.
Go ahead, take it, Buster.
Oh, good boy, Buster.
That's a
That
good
is-
boy. Now
that is-
that's a good boy.
That is such a. That's how you. That now. That is how you end a show. Thank you, everybody.
Who
From the bottom of
knows
my
what
heart.
violence Danny can have to go through to make that dog.